In this segment, I wanted to speak with you for a moment on men and women having respect for themselves when it concerns their sex and or sexuality, their bodies. Once upon a time, there was a time when women carried themselves as women and not whores. There are some, by virtue of the statement that I just made, will jump to their own pretend defense when they should not, because it's true. And there was a time when men had self respect and did not exhibit themselves as some form of lewd individual or some sort of ravishing dog. And how men do this, you see men these days still grabbing their crotch, their genital area, as if that means that they're a man. No, they're stupid. It means absolutely nothing. It only has some meaning to them. And you see these same men or other men, and I don't know why it became so popular here in the US, but you see these men wearing their pants hanging or sagging off of their behinds, many of them even under their buttocks, and you're looking right at their behind in their underwear, and they seem not to care at all. And the crazy thing is, if you were to ask many of them why they wear their pants that way, they couldn't even answer. They don't have one iota of an answer. Yet they do it anyway. Why? Oftentimes because they see it's pretty popular. They see rappers and some celebrities wearing their clothes like that, so they mimic those individuals. And they see people in their community, and the next thing you know, there's a significant amount of them walking around with their pants hanging off of their behinds. That looks dirty and it looks trifling. And it's definitely not a sign of manhood. And what's even worse is that if these individuals have children that are males, they walk around with their pants down, like father, like son. You see what I'm saying? It really makes them look effeminate. It's nasty. Stop. Now, as it relates to women, there was a time, and I have mentioned this before in videos past, where women cared more about their sobriety, if you will, or chastity, and they would protect their bodies by keeping their bodies modestly covered for their husbands or their potential mates, and just for general maintenance and respect of themselves. There was a time when women wore dresses more often and less trousers and or pants. There was a time when a woman wore something called a slip. You barely ever see a slip anymore. And when those women in those days wore slips, if the slip was protruding beneath their dress and you brought it to their attention, they'd feel embarrassed and they would have to try to hurriedly correct it. That's how much they respected themselves. And then, if too much of their bosom was being exposed, a lot of women who were being modest would try to close it and put the last button up. Or they would take a safety pin, a small safety pin, and close their top so they wouldn't be revealing so much flesh. There was a time. There was a time when women wore full bathing suits, one piece, being modest again, protecting their bodies from those on the outside gawking at them, typically men. But times have changed. Society has changed. The societal norms have changed. And there's barely anything left to the imagination when you look at women in today's society. Not just in America, but across the world. They're walking around wearing panties. Honestly, I'm sure you've seen it. Wearing panties and bras in public. They're wearing tops so low cut you can almost see their areolas. And if they are well endowed as far as their breast is concerned, they're almost popping out of their bra. And some of them walk around with a t-shirt on and no bra. And you're watching their nipples through their t-shirts. Society has changed. Not to mention the tights when they became popular. You know what tights are. Spandex, polyester and so forth. Clinging to the flesh. Skinny jeans. And the sort. They wear those jeans so tight you can see every crevice of their body. Their vagina, and a lot of the clothes that they wear, the clothing material is between their behinds, and they're okay with it. But they look like street whores. But you can't tell them that. Why? As long as they get some accolades from their girlfriends and from other people saying, girl, you look good. That's nice on you. I like that color. Where did you get that from? So that she can mimic or copy what that woman is doing. And when it's enough of them doing it, the next thing you know, it's popularized. But they don't ever think about what they really look like and the impression that they put in men's eyes and minds. I wouldn't want my daughters to dress like that. I wouldn't want my granddaughters to dress like that. And I definitely would not want a wife of mine to dress like that, because her body, when you have a wife, belongs to you. So why is your woman, and I'm talking to men who have girlfriends and boos and wives, why would you allow your woman to put her body on display for all of the men that are out in society to spectate? Oftentimes, and more often than not, it is because she wants the attention of other people as well, when she should just be considering the attention she's giving to you. Because she's sacred and she belongs to you for the time that you have her, and not anyone else. So your wife, your girlfriend, walking out with tight clothing on, and you know she's well endowed in the front and the back, why does every other man have to see it? That should be on reserve for you only, guys. And if she's insistent about how she dresses and wants to continue in that way, then maybe she has ill intentions. I'm not simply old fashioned, I'm old school, and I'm practical. I'm pragmatic. Even though you've been doing something all or most of your lives, does not necessarily make it ethical, does not make it morally right. Even if the majority is doing it and you feel in the minority, well, guess what? Stand alone. Learn to stand alone and stop following every trend and every fashion statement that comes along just because everyone else is doing it. And secure your space and your dignity for one's self, and stop leaving those lasting impressions in men's minds, ladies, because they really don't care about you anyway. All they care about is what you can offer them physically. And once they've received it, they'll go on to the next one. And guys, be a good example to your sons and stop making pimps and little thugs out of your guys. That's not manhood. That's foolhardy. It's stupid as well. You know what's funny to me? You have guys saying, who are you to tell me what to think and how to dress and how to live my life? Let me tell you something. Jesus is not on this planet walking amongst us anymore. But if you study your word, God uses people to convey his messages. These days, yes, he does. And that's who I am. I say what I say to you, knowing that everyone is not going to receive it well, and that's okay. But they didn't receive him either. But those that will follow. Not because I said it, but because it's right. That was it. And that was all. This is Brother Teacher.